And the ceiling
Yeah,
for
that
both these
Wrigley.
teams, yeah, that Wrigley game
Hmm.
against Northwestern. So it's a dub. I don't know. It's a home game. What do you want to call it?
Well,
A win.
speaking of Northwestern, it is a scandal no one really ever saw coming.
Nay.
No, not
Or
at all.
wanted.
Um,
No, no one wants that. There's nothing bad. Northwest, I mean, not nothing bad. Northwestern wasn't bothering anybody. You
Never
no,
have.
know, been in a bubble, make a couple Big Ten championship games, win a bunch of bowl games, but they've never hurt nobody's feelings.
no,
Patty Fitz
Well,
specifically has never, I've never heard a bad word about Patty Fitz from like other coaches, players.
no,
Like everyone he seems like a real dude. Like just, he's a football
bro.
player, so he's going to be a jock, but, and what comes with that, but I've never heard anything bad about him.
neither have I. I've never heard anything bad until a couple weeks ago. What was it? Yeah, like a
A
or
week ago,
week
On
ago.
a week. Yeah.
It came out
Friday,
that yeah, Friday actually, not even
Friday.
like it was Friday. That there was a
Yeah.
hazing allegation going on within the locker room. It was reviewed by the president of Northwestern, who
2 week unpaid suspension.
to yes handed down that punishment, and then over the weekend and yesterday and today, or yesterday came out that it was more of a sexual nature in all the
Hazing.
hazing.
Yeah.
Look it up at your discretion, obviously. Um,
Yes,
but
definitely use your discretion.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um, my thing is, and I'll play devil's advocate this whole time. Everybody can sit there and judge. I'm not super worried about it. I'm kind of biased towards Northwestern as a whole. Um, this man built you an entire program in 20 years. He played for you. I get we haven't even got to the investigation yet, and you showed him the door. Like, I feel that's a little disrespectful, but also at the same time, what I find interesting is I'd have to find the notes on it. Was it the assistant athletic director or someone took a quote unquote promotion into the Big Ten conference? What was that
Uh, yeah.
text?
Associate or assistant AD, I believe.
The associate athletic director Paul Kennedy leaves Northwestern for a role in the vice president of sports communications for the Big Ten Conference. So, how are you cleaning house? And baseball's been mentioned in this. They've got
yes.
issues going on right now. And this other dude gets a promotion. I'm not sure I'm catching on to everything that's here in politics. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's really weird. Um, I I don't think we have the full story. I am also a little biased. I love Pat Fitzgerald. I'm a big fan of Northwestern, so I am uh kind of side leaning towards his side, but of course we don't know all the facts, so you can't really say anything with 100%. Uh, but like I don't know, if you've been in a locker room, you know how locker rooms are. Hazing has been an issue forever. It's going to continue to be an issue forever. It's just the way sports are, the way people are. People love to tease other people. Um, the bad part is the graphic, uh, the sexual assault, and all the other stuff that came out. As far as how true it is, I don't know. Uh, from what I gathered, the school did an independent investigation starting in November
Mhm.
for what 7 months from a like outside law firm or whatever, and they found nothing too crazy. They suggested the 2 week suspension. And they specifically said that they never believed that Pat Fitzgerald knew about any of this. I don't believe that. I'm sure he knew that there was hazing going on. Like I said, he's a football player. He's a jock. Like, I've been in locker rooms. You guys have been in locker rooms. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you tease boys. You try to get under each other's skin here and there. Yeah, you can cross the line. But as far as like the firing goes, it doesn't make sense that he got a 2-week suspension on Friday, and then nothing new came out, and he got fired yesterday. So I don't understand the full
Right.
context to this.
So,
That's why I think there's something big coming
well,
later.
so apparently, so have you guys not seen some of the reports of what the hazing actually was, though? Of
Yeah,
the sexual nature?
Are we
and
talking about like the running boards and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, leading to X, Y,
naked
and
bear
Z.
crawls.
Yeah, naked bear crawls through the locker room doing what's known as, I guess, a car wash. I'm not going to go into details of what that is. Um if you read the article, it kind of explains it in a way. I'm not if you okay, so
Take your word for it.
so basically what it is they two rows.
User discretion, viewer discretion
Yeah,
advised.
viewer discretion advised here. Two rows of dudes, and they basically spin while one dude runs in between them and stuff like that. So like, I mean, there's like definitely not sexual harassment, but like sexual assault going on, more or less.
Okay,
And what these allegations were. Now, um,
I guess at the same
I'm
time,
just gonna say
and
this, like, if anybody, like, if that was me in that locker room and like that happened, I'm fighting somebody immediately. You know what I mean? Like, not even thinking about it. Like, the first thing that, like, they're telling me that, I'm punching some dude in their jaw immediately.
but also at the same time, and again, not the proper way to handle things. I'm not saying it is or isn't in your instance either.
Yeah.
Leave.
Yeah.
But
Or just leave. Or just
just
leave.
transfer, leave. I
I'm
mean,
getting
yeah,
out of
you want to
here.
Yeah,
play. If
whatever.
it's not like, okay, no offense to anyone at Northwestern fans, football. How many Northwestern guys make the NFL? How many guys play at that next level? You can love to play, and this shouldn't force you to. You should never be forced to stop
Right.
doing something you love due to the actions of other people, especially in this graphic nature. But
Right.
bro, if it's at that point and no one's listening,
That's what I'm saying. And they said,
dip
like,
out.
there was, and like, from what, like, has been reported, there was, like, a board, like, in the locker room.
Heard of
So,
this?
Yeah, there's a lot of boards in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
1000%, but like there was like a specific board in the middle of the locker room that had like this information on it, like a Shrek
Yeah.
run, you know what I mean? That
Exactly.
type of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's
Release
like,
those photos.
yep,
I
and there
want.
was like photos release of it. So
Let's see
here's
them.
my thing.
I
Bring
haven't
them
seen
out.
any
Bring them out.
photos.
Here's
Yeah.
my thing. They were released through like the media. Um, but here's my thing with it is at the end of the day, if Pat Fitzgerald didn't know, it was his job to know.
Correct.
At the end of the day, he's the captain. Captain goes down with
Yeah,
the ship.
At
he
the end of
is.
the day,
Yeah.
it was his job to know, and it was his job to know and to end it when it started.
Yeah. And something crazy that I got a notification about an hour ago is that Northwestern is keeping all of the assistant coaches, which I find very, very odd. If this is a toxic culture environment, wouldn't you clean house?
You would have to. You'd have to go
You would be
all the
forced
way
to. The
down.
With
public
these
would.
Yeah.
allegations, you have to personally, with the allegations that have been made, if I'm the president of Northwestern, there's only one way to handle it at this point. You go to the police, you have them do an entire investigation into all these sexual assault charges or claims and all that, and whoever was involved is getting taken out.
I want evidence. I
And
want
yeah,
this and that.
evidence. But I'm saying, like, that's why you have to get like the police involved, because they're gonna have to get
Right, yeah.
evidence to do all that. Not just lawyers, like not just hiring an
Testimonies,
investigation
like,
Mhm.
firm. Yeah, you
right.
need
I agree.
testimonies, you need to get people on the record, all of this. And when that, like, and after that, and I agree, Drew, you have to get all the assistant coaches out, and you have to hire a brand new staff, an
Yeah.
entire
How,
new staff.
let's jog everybody's memory here, and it's
But how do
not,
you do that? Like Ethan said at
6 weeks before the season.
6 weeks before the season.
I think
I'm not talking
that's
about that. Let's take everybody's memory back to the state of Pennsylvania, Penn State University, the
I
whole
mean,
thing that went down there.
that was kind of different though.
But at the same time, the captain was either involved or not involved. You can say the same here. You're going to get these penalties all the
yeah.
way through. The whole program's going down, and you've got to start fresh. There's no other way to
Yeah.
do it but clean house. If you're only cutting the head off the snake or whatever, and I mean, essentially, it's like a
You need
starfish.
a
You're cutting one limb off, it's going to regenerate.
you need an entire
Yeah.
overhaul of the culture, essentially.
Wait
Yeah.
staff, assistant coaches, trainers,
Hmm.
anybody that was on staff during these 18 years needs
Hmm.
looked at and worst case kicked.
Yeah. And yeah, so I'm completely shocked that they're keeping all the assistants.
I didn't know that. I didn't see that
Um,
at all.
But I
the
mean, what do you
one
do? But honestly,
I
like
know that
logically
there's not
thinking,
much time.
what do you do 6 weeks
No.
before the season?
Nothing. You can't do
But
anything.
how many of these guys deserve, and I'm not saying it's right now, and I know you
But
can't change culture
but
overnight.
here's the thing.
How many of these guys you saying don't deserve a bid at a 1 star
Yeah.
esque
Well,
bottom tier squad?
you're not wrong, but like let's just I'm gonna say this is just as it was Pat Fitzgerald's job to know, it's hard for me to not believe that the position coaches didn't know this was going on. Furthermore, the coordinators didn't know this was going on. Furthermore, the wait staff didn't know this was going on, or a training staff member.
Well, somebody
Like
had to have
somebody had to tell
access.
somebody to it.
These kids aren't just going into and Northwestern is what, a top tier private smart kid school. There's got to be
It's the only
access. You
private
can't tell
school.
me.
It's the only private school in the Big Ten.
And
Yeah,
they
you
have
can't
one
tell
of the
me.
best sports journalism programs in the world.
I mean, they've
So
put
nobody
out.
broke this earlier. Nobody's got. You're telling me that no trainers. These kids are just having access to these locker rooms on their own. Like nobody's in the room. Everybody else is home when all this is going on.
Yeah, it can't there has to be some other coaches involved here. I was listening to Pat McAfee earlier today, and Pat was talking about how when he was at WV, him, the boys, and the grad assistants, the trainers, the lower tier coaches would party, they would hang out and whatnot. So they hang out, they know what's going on. So it shocks me, like I said.
It's really shocking, and it's almost kind of disturbing. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I've always thought of Northwestern as a school that's in the Big Ten who's doesn't they're not in it for the athletics. You know what I mean? Athletics is a bystander for Northwestern. They've always been in it for the academic side of it. The funding
They
that they can
Yeah,
get for academics, for their research, to
their
bring in the
location.
top minds of the country to their school. You know what I mean? I mean, guys, we know somebody, or at least Ethan and I know somebody who went to Northwestern, who Northwestern paid him to go there to get his doctorate in mathematics. I mean, like, the school really is academically very prestigious and one of the most prestigious, obviously, in the entire Big Ten.
Hmm.
I know people that have gone there for medicine and
Yep.
getting doctorates. I know people that were in there for sports medicine.
So
Um,
we know, I mean, we don't know them personally, but I can name 3 individuals right now who went there for sports journalism, and they're
well,
probably one of the 3 greatest sports journalists of all time.
you look
Who
at, yeah,
Wilbon.
go
uh
ahead, go.
who would you say is the most famous person in Northwestern University history? Most recognizable,
It
biggest
it depends on who
who's the
you
face of
ask.
Northwestern
If
University?
it depends on who you would ask, but didn't I think Mike
Non-sports
Wilbon went
fans would
there?
say
Didn't
something
Wilbon
else.
go there?
Yeah, Wilbon
I would say
is a good one.
Wilbon or Otto
Freeburn went
Graham.
there. Greenberg went there. Otto Graham's probably the greatest athlete to ever come out of Northwestern
Well,
University.
1000%, but I'm just saying him or Wilbon are probably the most recognizable people to graduate from there. It's that school.
I'm currently
Fair.
finding an alumni list
Um,
on Wikipedia, and I have no shame in that to see.
so,
I'm just
The,
saying Patty Fitz is like a
but like,
staple in Evanston. So it's going
he
to be
is.
so
so weird.
crazy him
Well, and
not
that's the
being there.
thing is
Okay,
like,
And I fear for
well,
the program.
so where I was going that with was Drew is to your point with Pat Fitz is it seemed like Pat Fitz took it to, hey, athletics is not just a byproduct of Northwestern University. It's going to be some kids' reason to coming here, you
Hmm.
know? And he
exactly.
built a program which then flourished into, I mean, we've seen in recent years the Northwestern basketball program hasn't been too bad.
It's picked
Yeah.
up.
Other sports
Softball's
Okay.
have
good. Baseball's good.
other athletes have started coming there and they go, huh, maybe instead of going to Stanford, I go to Northwestern. Or maybe instead of going
Mhm.
to, some of these
Duke.
others, Duke or something, I go to
Or if I'm
Northwestern.
local,
Yeah,
Northwestern over Notre Dame.
Dame.
I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. You're gonna get a
Michigan.
very
mhm.
similar education.
Hmm.
You
So
know,
I found a small list here. Quick list. George R. R. Martin, author Game of Thrones. Stephen Colbert. All are credited as a Northwestern alumni. You've got
well,
Megan, the Duchess of Essex.
okay, but did they actually
Seth
attend?
Meyers,
But did they
uh,
actually
a
attend?
credited alumni.
Well, credited, but that's
It could
like,
be just a master's degree.
well, no,
Could be.
it could just
Which
be
is
that
still
they
attending.
were a key speaker at the
Oh,
um
I see.
key speaker at a graduation. They got an honorary doctorate from Northwestern.
What
Now
the
they're
hell
accredited
says?
And
alumni.
that's weak as fuck.
I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
saying
dumb.
Harvard does
Giving out
that,
doctorates.
well, no, I'm just saying like they go, you're a doctorate in this.
Yeah.
And it's
Here's
like
another one.
Seth,
it's not really meaningful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not something you really are like, oh, I'm a doctor in.
right?
It depends who you are.
Well,
Seth
right.
Meyers. I got a picture with him on my phone right now when we
Yeah.
were at the Big Ten championship game the first time around.
So
Pharrell Williams.
journalism people. Oh, Pharrell. Okay.
Yeah. David Schwimmer. Everybody knows Ross Friends. Jerry Springer, the mayor of Cincinnati.
Whoa.
Okay.
Uh,
Different.
I didn't know he went there.
well, again, it's alumni. That's what it says. And there's even a more comprehensive list that I'm not clicking on. But I would
So,
say if you're looking at a staple of Evanston, I'm going to say Pat Fitzgerald. And if you're going after that, greatest athlete, Otto Graham.
Fair.
what was when you guys first heard of this news, what was your initial reaction?
No way.
Uh, the 2 week suspension, I was like, what? And then the firing, I was like, oh,
That
just
made me a
because
little
I
sad.
don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if I fully believe everything yet. I mean,
I was
the whole team signed a petition, 100 plus SIGs, saying that this wasn't real, or at least Pat Fitz didn't know about it.
or it's all being taken out of context. Is from
Yeah.
what like I've read in their statement.
Or
It's like it's
yeah,
being twisted. It's not what it
or
seems
we don't
like.
have the full story. They're a
Yeah,
private university, so they haven't released the full story because they don't have to. So we may
no,
never know.
true.
And not only did the whole team
My
say, hey, we probably shouldn't do this, one of your guys got a promotion and your whole coaching staff is still on your payroll.
Just weird, man.
it's just really weird. Yeah,
And
and
it's a first year. They have a first year president. This is his first year as president, and the AD has only been here 2 years. So I think that
So
kind of sped
we're
things up a little bit.
we're saving face with the public.
my
But what do you
I
do
think
and
we
say
are.
this could all go either way? Not discounting that. This could be like, holy hell, this dude sucked. Or bro's innocent. Do you let him? Do you crawl back to him, give him his job back? Does he give you the middle finger? Proverbially, physically, literally? Let's say this all blows over. Let's just play the first plot A. This blows over. You're president. What do you do?
It'll be a PR nightmare to bring him back.
back 1,000. You can't bring it back at
You
this
just
point.
can't,
You've already
man.
fired him.
Yeah, maybe as not as head coach, but like as
You can't bring him back in any capacity at
yeah,
this
I
point.
don't know, dude. You
You
can't.
can't have it involved because at that point, if you hire him back within any capacity within the university
Mm,
related to athletics, you're just asking to get sanctioned by the NCAA. And I mean, you saw what they did at Penn State.
But I'm saying lawfully, 100% innocence proven, plot A.
I'm going to
it
put it
was a
this
hit
way.
piece.
I'm going to put it
Yeah.
this way. If that was the case, Urban wouldn't have retired at Ohio State, and Zach Smith would still be would have been the wide receiver coach still.
But clearly, Robisky's doing better.
Hardline.
Yeah, same thing. Wide receiver, wide receiver. Brian, brain cramp.
But I'm just saying. I mean, that's. I mean, I'm just saying though that like I'm just saying that would have still. I mean, now if Urban would have retired, Zach Smith would have been held, or he would have moved on as here neither here nor there. But I'm just saying though that like it came out that those guys didn't really have anything to do. Like all that stuff was all really almost fabricated, and he still lost his job at the end of the
I
day.
mean, it happened in Florida too. I don't know.
Uh,
I
but
can't wait for that documentary.
yeah, that's gonna be a good. But like, I just don't think you can bring Pat Fitzgerald back in any
I'm not
way.
disagreeing. I just want your views. I
fair.
mean, I clearly.
Yeah,
You can bring him
So
back one time for his Hall of Fame induction,
I don't even know if you can do that at this
I don't
point.
know if they, yeah,
bro.
retire his number.
It's crazy,
Call
dude. He was gonna get a statue.
It's all gets crazy, and it's crazy that Joe Paul lost his. But I mean, it is what it
That's
is when you're like, even if
another thing that I'm
Sheesh.
gonna agree
right,
with.
like
Yeah, don't meet your heroes.
that's the thing is
Don't.
like
Yeah,
Pat Fitzgerald's like, even if he didn't know though, and like the players saying he had nothing to do with it, he didn't know this was like our doing, you know what I mean, all this stuff, no matter what, at the end of it was his job to know about it. And especially if it was
agreed.
down to sexual assault, at the end of the day, like you didn't
Yep.
do your job.
Yeah,
And
fair.
All right. So now plot B. Guilty, plain as day, blood on his hands. You clean house? Do you pull your scholarships? Do you give yourself the death penalty? What do you do? How far do you take this in the public eye? How extreme is this?
I
Uh,
go ahead,
go
Jared.
ahead.
Well, I was gonna say
Okay.
I think they did a good job with off the bat with all the first like these first initial allegations. Off the bat, I think they did a good thing with firing him right away. So I think that
Don't
like
let it fester. Don't let
yeah,
it.
don't let it fester. Don't
Yeah.
stick to your like expense or your suspensions. I think like it was like the president said in a statement, this was my decision and mine alone. I based off the information I had, I thought the 2 week suspension was good enough. now this has all come to light. That was my decision. So I think that was a good thing. Um, you have to put yourself on you have to do something. You have to sanction yourself. Almost like we're gonna sit out 2 years or 3 for a bowl ban.
But you shouldn't punish these kids. These kids were wronged, and now you're going to punish them by taking their bowl games away.
But but that you're not punishing the kids,
They don't get to play in the bowl game.
correct? But the
Bowl games
kids,
are money,
but it
Punishing
funding.
doesn't matter
everyone.
that you wouldn't be in the. Okay, you're not wrong. However, though the kids are the reason you're in this situation. It's not
So
like it's
Scott,
not like it's not like Pat Fitzgerald was out there taking a bunch of money and like bribing recruits to come there, and now you're caught into like a big scandal like that.
no, that's legal now.
Well, right. But what I'm okay, so
Just
it's not
kidding.
like well, okay, so what's like technically not legal is like in the dead period calling and recruiting players to your school like USC was a rumor to
That
be
are
doing
enrolled at others.
that are already enrolled at other schools. So like at the end of the day, it's not like Pat Fitzgerald was calling up Marvin Harrison Jr. Yo, come play at Northwestern. Calling Emeka Ibuka, hey, come play at Northwestern. Oh, calling whoever, just hey, come play at Northwestern. It doesn't like it's not like he was doing that.
Homie
Like
got a lot of Ohio State phone numbers.
I'm just throwing players out that just popped off the top of my head. Like it's not
Yeah.
like and those were the two that were named in that whole situation, anyways. But like that's what I'm saying. It's not like he was doing that. You know what I'm saying? So the kids, Ethan, are the reason that Northwestern's even in this situation.
So are
They're
they getting cleaned out too? You cleaning out their scholarships? You taking their free money away? You taking away their lunches, their
I think
NIL?
I think at
Their
this point,
education.
I think at this
Yeah,
point, here is your only option. If you're asking me what I would do at this point if I was the president of Northwestern,
yeah.
I'm
You're the
hiring
president of Northwestern, and you have unequivocally proven Pat Fitzgerald and his staff guilty of sexual assault, hazing, and other graphical things
then
during football
then
time.
every single player that was involved in the sexual assault hazing, because it was all the players who were doing the hazing. Pat Fitzgerald, every single staff member who was there, all need to see their day in court. And they all are arrested, and I mean then Northwestern, you have to deal with it. And you got to figure out really how you're going to rebuild your football program after this. You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't
like
know if you can.
I don't think you can. Like if I'm being like I don't know,
The
that's just my opinion. Like I mean, sexual assault's nothing to mess around with. Like in
Absolutely not.
in Penn State's case, it was one coach doing it to young boys at camp. Like that is fucked up. That is really fucked up. But like in this case, it was and this is where it's like tricky. Like how do you do that? Because it's like, what if it's 60 of your 83 kids that are all involved in this? You know what I mean? Like you have, or sorry, you have what, 85 scholarship players that are allowed on your team?
Mhm. Yeah.
So what if it's 70 out of those 85 scholarships? Because those 15 are your incoming freshmen.
Like you got some free money to give out.
uh
I mean, that, so at the end of the day, that's my thing. You got to have an independent force like the FBI or police force to come in and do their criminal investigation into it.
yeah, you gotta get in somebody outside to do a full like investigation. I don't know if there are cameras in the locker room or whatnot, but you gotta like pull footage and you gotta like see if this is legit. The whole team, the whole coaching staff mostly. Um, like I said, hazing happens. It's never gonna be gone.
Man,
Um,
what happened to the days of like it's all sexual assault nowadays? It's like, man, what happened to the days of like hazing where like you would like take your buddies back and like you would just maybe punch them in the arm a bunch of times? You know what I mean? And that was it. It was like a
I
freshman
mean,
beatdown.
dudes aren't getting snapped by towels. They're not
Yeah,
getting shoved in lockers. They're
yeah,
not
like
getting their clothes hidden in the shower or in the
yeah,
next
like what
room or
happened in that
something.
type of stuff? That was just like funny stuff to do.
We're in a different world, man. You can't have fun. I'm not saying this is fun
Yeah.
or right. I'm
Or
just
like,
making a point.
yeah,
and and especially, and this is in today's world, um like social media and media has already crucified Northwestern. It's going to take a lot to repair their image, especially the football team. So it's going to take a long time, and they're not going to get recruits. They don't get recruits now anyway. Um, so
oh, it's gonna be hard
they're
as
going to
hell.
be in the gutter for a while. But I believe that uh, there's no way. I've never seen the FBI or anyone pull off an investigation in 6 weeks.
Mm-mm.
So that's not going to happen. So I'm saying these boys are going to play the season.
There's
One of the assistants is going to be made interim. And then this is just like Baylor. I think this is going to go the same way as Baylor went back in
Art,
with
2016.
took the Art Briles
yeah,
era.
Art
Yeah,
Briles.
when Briles got in trouble,
Hmm.
they got rid of him and a few guys, but they kept like half the staff, and they
Hmm.
brought in Jim Grobe. They might have just promoted him as a 1 year coach, a complete transition year. I think this is a complete transition year for Northwestern. They're already going to be dog shit.
Kind of like the
Now
Luke
they're going to
Fickle
be
year.
even more dog shit.
Like the Luke Fickle year at Ohio
It's gonna be
State.
worse than that.
2011.
Yeah,
No, I'm
it's going
just
to be
saying
bad.
it. You have an interim head coaching year before you make
Yeah,
another hire.
you make this you
Yeah,
make this guy your head coach with the intent that we're going to go get someone for real next year.
yeah.
So I think next year Northwestern is going to try and get someone big.
So, what happened to the days of like the D3 Mighty Ducks hazing, though? You know what I mean? Like, you take all the freshmen out to dinner, and then you stick them with the bill at the end of the night. You know, you got to like the most fancy. I mean, like you're at Northwestern. You're at one of the richest schools in the country. Go out to like a really nice steakhouse and stick these dudes
That'd
with
be
the bill.
savage, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
That would...
That would be savage, but like, at least you're not sexually assaulting people.
Fair.
But you know what I mean? Like,
So
who's gonna get mad? Oh, they invited us out. Can you imagine
I'd be
telling a
mad,
reporter
dude.
this? Yeah, we got hazed. Oh, well, what did they do? They took us out to a really nice steak dinner and then stuck us with the bill. Can you believe that?
We're all broke as
Oh,
shit.
oh. I thought you had a juicy story there. Nope, my steak was juicy. Like,
so looking at
Ethan,
if you get on
what would you do? You asked us, what would you do? At
for the
this point.
guilty,
Well, I mean, it's just at this point, like,
I think we can just. Well, he's not coming back. I think we can
yeah.
assume that.
Yeah, like he's
I guess
obviously not coming back.
that's
So what
The
would you
era
do?
is
cashed
over.
out.
How would you handle
Unfortunately.
it from here on out if you're for like Northwestern? Like, what would you do to resolve this?
Was it UAB that killed their program and brought it back due to staffing issues
Yep.
or recruiting issues?
EMU did, I think, too.
Emu. I think
I
you
don't know
just
about
kill it.
that.
I think
Shut it down for a year.
you're gonna have to shut it down. And I guess thinking about, I'm just kind of rolling all these thoughts together, so they're probably gonna blur. What you said, Drew, no major investigative firm is going to do something in complete nature
Entirety
in
of
6 weeks.
No
absolutely.
Yeah.
government system has ever done
No
something that
governing
fast.
body. If they do, and it's good, I would almost say it's this year if something kicks back in 6 weeks and it's proven innocent. I would say that there's more personally, if you're going to just kick a guy out right away, but you can get an inconclusive innocent before the season starts, what? And then if you let it drag out, okay, cool, whatever. But I think at this point, you kill the football program until you know the answer. So I'm killing it this year.
I like that.
I think that you have to go find the top OC, the top DC, whichever you want to coach an offensive or a defensive scheme, you got to go find a guy that deserves the head coaching job and can work in adversity.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure. I was looking at their coaching staff here on the internet currently. Mike Bajikane. It looks like he's Coach Jake on Twitter, and you Coach Jake on Twitter. He's the current quarterbacks coach in OC. I assume he'll step up and take over interim. David Braun, first year DC. You're not giving him the gig this year. So after that, you're getting to your assistant coaches, running backs coaches, helpers. I say you kill the program until you know what happened. You kill it till you have inconclusive evidence, guilty or not guilty, um, and work from there. You have to build your program back up. But that gives you time to maybe someone falls to you. Maybe someone falls from grace. You find yourself a James Franklin.
I was gonna
Put you
say,
back on
who
the
do
map.
you? My next question is who would you go? I mean, there's some names, obviously out there. Who would you? And there's one guy that I know that I personally would go after if I was a Northwestern president. So I'm interested in who you guys would say. Who do you think would be a good if you go Ethan's route, you kill it this year, just cancel your season, which I mean would screw up a lot of scheduling things, and I guess you would just say we forfeit those games and give whoever we play there an auto win, and essentially proverbial bye week. So if you were gonna hire,
I'd give
I
him the
guess,
bye week. I wouldn't give him the W.
or give them a bye week or something, but
Yeah.
who do you who would you guys bring in as your next head coach to start to rebuild the culture and image of Northwestern?
I think the most popular name, you guys might be thinking it as well. David Shaw, Stanford. Uh, I'm David Shaw built a program at Stanford. Stanford is Northwestern. They're the same program. So I think Shaw makes a lot of sense there. He's also not doing anything right now.
I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking currently employed.
Me too.
I was in the Garrett Riley neck of the
God.
woods. If I'm shooting for the moon,
No.
it's not feasible. But otherwise, I mean,
I could see Garrett Riley.
I
if
would
I'm
feel
looking,
bad for Garrett Riley.
Me too. I'd feel bad for him. He
He could
doesn't.
never get the talent he deserves.
No.
no, I would say if you're doing something comparable, I would look at places like you could get Tommy Reese. Tommy Reese is going to need a job here soon.
Yeah, I
Um,
heard his name.
I'm if I was going to go another direction, I
Two
would
dark
probably.
horses.
I got one for you.
I have two for you.
You guys are probably going to completely throw me out the water.
No, well, I got two here. Here's my two. Ready?
All right, go for it.
He's the current head coach, going into his first year at Tulsa.
Wow.
Kevin Wilson.
Will.
Kevin Wilson.
Okay.
Not bad.
And the other one is the current head coach at Indiana University, Tom Allen. I
He'll
think,
need a job coming November.
and I think both of those guys have
He's great.
exactly what it would take to rebuild Northwestern and to get talent to Northwestern in the process.
Okay.
I think
two dark horses.
Yeah.
And
Two
develop.
dark horses.
I like Tom Allen a lot.
Tom
Allen,
but don't
solid.
sleep on Kevin Wilson, because he was a head coach too.
At Indiana,
right?
At Indiana,
Yeah,
and then he
he's
came
got
to
big
Ohio
time
State. Yeah, and he has that experience. That's what I
Don't
think.
sleep on Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm sure there's something to do
Hey,
there.
there's two guys out there from
There's gotta be
Tulsa.
activities.
Their name is George and George, father and son, George and George. I met them at the Ohio State Tulsa game a couple years ago, the day I got engaged to my now wife, and they gave us 100 or so bucks so we could go have
Woo!
dinner on them that night, and we enjoyed the entire game. We sat right next to them. They were two guys. We called them George Squared. They are awesome. Tulsa fans, check
Shout out
mark A
George.
plus in my book.
All
But
right, that's dark horses. Mike Elko, Duke,
Love it.
and a guy that's gonna need a job when this is all said and done. Don't Mel Tucker.
I don't.
Don't
I don't-
I
love it,
trash on
but
this dude
that's
all the
funny.
time. I feel he's gonna come chase me down somewhere. I
Watch-
can't go to East
watch-
Lansing this year.
Yeah, dude, watch Sparty. Watch Sparty win 10 games this year. Some crazy shit.
I want to see it. I want to be
Uh,
wrong. I want to make these predictions and be wrong.
Amen. One name that I saw, one last one that I
here's
saw.
Hold on. Here's Paul Feinbaum. Long shot
Oh,
here.
Dorothy.
But what about OSU alum Matt Garrett as the next
He
Northwestern
couldn't
head
handle
coach?
it, dude. He
Paul
couldn't handle
Feinbaum, are you drunk?
Paul Feinbaum's out to dinner with some people right now. He's gonna get stuck with the bill.
it. Shout out Rich Roberts. Get a job. One last name that I
He said, "Shout out, Rich Roberts, get a job."
one last name I heard was Brian Hartline. If he were to have a big year or something.
See.
I think that's a bit of a stretch right now, but
I
don't.
I think that's a huge stretch, just because
He's gonna have to go a different direction.
Well, there's two things that in my gut tell me what's going to happen. When the day comes that Ryan Day is ready to step away, it's either Hartline gets the reins or they go out and hire Luke Fickle back. And you literally just have a defensive coach and an offensive coach and just run it. That's
I'm
just
not
in my
on
gut.
the Luke Fickle wagon. I would rather have Marcus Freeman.
Marcus ain't coming back. And I don't think after what he said last
it's
year,
tough
Ohio
to leave
State
that Notre
would have
Dame
it.
job.
Hey, dude, you
Brian
gotta earn
Kelly
your
bolted
money,
for
dude.
Baton Rouge pretty quickly.
Like
I mean,
I'm
after
saying,
8 years, 9 years.
And Phelan.
And
well, I'll say right here, Brian Kelly is going to win a national championship at LSU.
Is Brian Kelly going to win a national championship before Lincoln Riley? I've seen that one a lot.
Yes.
See, that's a tough one. I ain't going to answer that one.
Yes, absolutely, because Lincoln Riley out there doesn't play defense. So, back to Northwestern.
Well, one day he'll get a DC.
So,
No.
if you're Pat, what's next for Pat Fitzgerald?
Go golfing, man.
Sue the university. Get back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
They still owe him $45 million. He's going to sue. He's going to make some of that money back. And
he's going to
probably just retire.
They'll probably just pay him to shut up. I mean, realistically, he's going to fight and fight. They're going to say, "Look, here's some money. Here's 8 figures.
Urban Meyer.
Go find something to do.
Go
play in your room."
Matt Garrett says Urban Meyer for next head coach.
Oh Lord.
Death penalty.
Lord. Death penalty for sure. I mean, he fits the culture right now, so
yeah. Surprised he wasn't there. Actually,
could have helped.
So you think he sues, gets his money, gets a remaining, or gets a chunk of his money?
I don't know. Yeah,
gets a chunk of it.
Then
you're not getting 45.
Yeah, not that much.
Do you think
he'll end up
he'll disappear for
if an investigation is done and it comes out that he literally had no idea any of this was happening and it was done like not even in the locker rooms, it was like done like in like their dorms or whatever,
houses and stuff.
houses and stuff, where
frat houses.
That's
$45 million in his pocket.
Do you think a program would reach out to him?
Yes.
Yeah.
He can coach football. He may not be able to coach Western football, but the dude isn't a bad coach. He's been in 2 conference championship games
and 101 is his record at Northwestern. He has 9
Yes.
games above 500.
Okay.
Now,
Let's
a
go.
lot of
Yeah,
that has to do
very
with
impressive.
losing 10 games last year.
Matt Rule, 47 and 43 as a head coach. Kirk Ferentz, 186 and 115 as a head coach.
Legend.
I mean,
I'm saying, but he's 9 games. It's not like
Yeah, but you got to look at the program he was coaching. And,
absolutely. I'm not.
like he didn't recruit well. We can agree he didn't recruit well,
No.
but he
No.
developed.
He was there
He
So
was
for
he's a good
able to
every 4
develop.
developer.
years.
He's a good
Yeah.
coach.
He could make his team better than they actually were, which, I mean, that's the reason we're all here. So
It might be a while before he's a head coach again, if he's ever a head coach again, but I do think he should coach again.
I mean, they've literally won their last 4 bowl games. They were, I don't know, man. 2 Big Ten championships, 4 bowl wins in a row. They'll get you a job somewhere. May not like where it is.
Yeah, it might be a G5, but those are more fun anyway.
Yeah. Mac school, Sunbelt,
Those are more
Sunbelt
fun
teams.
anyways. True.
G5's where it's
So
at, bro.
get him
Maction.
down.
Kusa.
Yeah.
I
mean,
got a question.
So miss Troy.
I want to transition from Northwestern here, because we've basically
We've talked it out.
Beating
out.
it. Beating it like a dead horse.
Exactly. So,
or
just like everyone else in the
phasing scheme.
Because you said the group of 5, Drew, I got a question for you guys.
Oh boy.
With the 12-team playoff, right? And realistically, with the way these conferences are now realigning, you're going to have half of the teams in the playoff most likely from 2 conferences, right? Probably the majority of them are going to be from 2 conferences. With that being said, do you think it's time? And I like this, but do you think it's time for the group of 5 schools to branch off and start their own playoff system?
Fuck yes.
Absolutely. I think that'd be a blast.
I
mean,
would love it.
Yeah. I think
of an undercard. Sorry, go ahead, Drew.
Oh yeah, no, undercard is a perfect way to put it. Like I would keep it. It would be smaller. I'd do like 4-6 teams, what it should really be. But yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I mean, so I've got the group of 5 up on my screen here. 2, 4, 6, 8. So there's 10, obviously. 10 divisions. So yeah, you run 8 teams, or you run 4 conference champions, 5 champions, 6 people. How do you want to do it? Auto bid?
I think that'd be so fun. Would you include
independents?
Oh yeah, I guess you would probably do independents in the.
There's your 6 team right there. Turn the independents into their own conference.
Not
group
even
of 5.
Who the highest ranked independent out of that thing.
Which I mean would still
into the G5 playoff.
Yeah, but I mean you're not going to have. But I mean the only independent that you want to put into that conversation is Notre Dame.
They're not. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Notre Dame would run that.
Yeah, they would win it every single year.
They need wins, and you know how they do in bowl games. So I don't know. That might not be a given as much as you want it to be.
No, but Notre Dame would be like your main independents now. I think are all the service schools, aren't they? Air Force, Navy, Army.
UConn, UMass.
That's because the Big East broke
Liberty.
up.
Liberty, BYU.
BYU, yeah, that's because all the Big East broke up.
I don't know how accurate this is.
Not anymore. BYU
this doesn't even.
Yeah, BYU's now in the Big 12.
And then Liberty is in CUSA, Conference USA.
Yeah, so this isn't accurate. I'm on. But I mean, if you're looking at this slate and
I would love to see it
on your CFP selection show, And hell, as the pre-show, you can have a G5 selection show. Again, undercard. You're getting
More
people
money.
want to. It's all about money anyway. Why wouldn't it be? These people are going to watch these games. They're going to want to be there. You're going to have
And
more football longer. It's going to be a bigger draw for these smaller schools. And on Sunday night,
and hear me
you put
out.
the NFL games early. Sunday night, Group of Five championship game. Monday night, NCAA championship game.
And hear me out.
That should be moved for Monday.
It needs to be a Saturday night.
1000%. But
It's
hear me
not
out.
hard.
Hear me out. Hear me out. What if the group of five for their semifinal, like their playoff games, were the biggest non-New Year Six bowl games? So like
So,
you know
like the
how like
Poinsettia Bowl,
so like the Outback Bowl,
Capital
right?
One Bowl,
Yeah, Capital One Bowl. Like you would use,
GoDaddy.com Bowl.
and then you would take, and then you could do those groups, and then like how they do it now with like the playoff system, this cause they rotate the games and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff.
Yeah,
You could do the same thing with that. And because like in my mind, none of those bowl games outside of the New Year's Six, none of the other bowl games really matter. It's all
but
for
they're
the
so much
group of
fun.
five. You're not wrong, but like it's just for like these other schools to play in a bowl game. Basically, they created them so more teams could play in bowl games. Well, this at least gives some of those games meaning now. And you're probably going to draw a bigger crowd for those group of five matchups when it's a playoff semifinal or championship game.
I got you. I got you a better one. Just thinking here, and it's completely outlandish, and I'm going to mention it.
Go for it. That's what
Run
we're
your
about.
run your bowl schedule. Put the group of five. Schedule them up however you want. Take your four biggest group of five wins. Put them against each other in a semifinals game. And let them run out for the best group of five team. You get a group of five win by 35, one seed. You could really mess with some. Yeah, I mean, I want point differential games, hoping they win.
I'm not following.
Yeah, you lost me.
Like, say, no, I actually need to
Drew and I are over here like,
group of five. I just want to see teams that can blow other teams out play each other in bowl games. I
lost in
mean,
translation, sir.
yeah, happens. Sounded better in here. Didn't make it here.
I
It's fine. We'll run it back.
so I mean, I just think it would be cool to see. I think it's time that you literally separate your group of five, your MAC schools, your Conference USAs, your WACs out of this echelon of college football, of the upper echelon of college football conferences, because like we've seen what happens when a very good Cincinnati team runs up against an Alabama. They get killed. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Cincinnati should have beat Georgia twice.
shoulda, coulda, woulda, but didn't. Florida played a very good Cincinnati team and blew the doors off of them in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, you get
In
your
2012
you
with a
get your
pissed off Tim Tebow.
yeah, but you get, don't get me wrong, you get your one shining moment with Ian Johnson running a Statue of Liberty into the end zone and proposing to his girlfriend for Boise State to beat Oklahoma. You have,
Perfect.
yeah, you have those moments, but those
But
moments,
that wasn't for a playoff or for a
yeah, for
championship
a
or anything.
championship, like honestly,
That was a
like
bowl game
if I'm not
when it
mistaken,
meant.
that Alabama Cincinnati game was only like 27-7, and honestly, that's because Nick Saban ran the ball basically the entire game because he knew Cincinnati could not stop his running game. I mean, we've seen what happens when Nick Saban gets into those situations against better
So you're
quality
saying
opponents. Better
Cincinnati
quality.
fared
So
better
No, what
against
I'm saying,
Alabama than Ohio State did.
no, I'm saying Nick Saban played a completely different game against him and still it was one dimensional and beat him by 20 points.
I'm pretty sure Mac Jones just hoisted it in the air 40 times that night and beat Ohio State.
You're right.
So he plays one-dimensional games.
But I mean, I'm just saying. But I'm thinking more often Nick Saban plays balanced football.
So Nick Saban is the best coach ever.
No,
I mean,
that's arguable.
That's
But I'm just saying, like even Kirby Smart, he does the same shit. He plays an even game, and but like he knows, like if he plays like Cincinnati team when he has his team like he did last year, all he has to do is run the ball 40 times and he wins.
a team wasn't there last year.
At that level, at Nick Saban, Kirby Smart level, you play every single game the same way. You don't play down to people.
You don't.
Ohio State often plays down to people.
You're not wrong, but we also know
But Saban has this in this, like, that's why he's the master, is the mentality. The mentality these Bama kids have is we're gonna fucking win.
We're gonna beat the brakes off whoever steps on that field.
And we're gonna do whatever, and we're gonna do what's ingrained in us.
Well, right, but I guess I'm just saying, like, it's been clear more often than not, more than it has been the opposite case with these Group of 5 teams beating these Power 5 schools. It has been more case than not that the Power 5 schools smash these Group of 5 schools.
That's fair, but some of these Power 5 schools also smash some of these other Power 5 schools.
You're not wrong.
The playoff has never been very entertaining.
The playoff's always been pretty watered down.
There's usually about one good game in the playoff a year.
True. Now, is that okay? Is that because there is a layoff? Well, no, but is that because there's a layoff where you're giving teams too much time off between games?
Are we talking about from a study standpoint or from just to relax and rejuvenate standpoint?
I'm talking just as
like being off the field.
Okay, and this is just an example.
Okay, and I'm just
the ring rust. I'm just throwing this as an example. I've heard experts say that if you put the 06 Ohio State team 2 weeks after conference championship week against Florida, that game is 100% different than what it was when Ohio State had a 40 day layoff. Because not playing football for that amount of time it's different trying to get back into that mode when you've just played 13 games in a row or 12 games in a row. And now you're off until January 1st. It's hard to simulate game action.
The FBS schedule was terrible.
You're not
plus injuries. You can help get guys healthy.
You get guys healthy, but like at the same time, like you're still not in game mode. You know what I mean?
That mentality.
Yeah.
You've been out of that mentality for a month now.
Well, and it's not like
game day mentality. I'm sure I don't know from experience, but I'm sure it's different.
Well, so it's like 1000%. And so, but like you're saying, like okay, so you sprain your ankle week 2, week 5. You're cleared for some, you're clear to come back. Well, the coaches put you in sparingly, just to get you game action. And then the next week you're back to maybe half reps and then full reps. So they work you back in through game action. But when you're in bowl prep, they're working you back from those injuries practice wise. You're not getting in-game reps working back. And I think that some of that has a lot to do with, some lopsided victories here and there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would say so.
And it could be, like I've always said, I don't think there's 4 teams in a football season that really deserve to play for the national championship. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I can make a better argument for 4 than I could 12.
12, exactly. But I don't think the BCS was perfect because of what it was. But realistically, your national championship last year, and I'll say this, coin flip, it probably should have been Georgia, Ohio State, or Georgia, Michigan.
I mean, if the BCS would have made it Michigan, Georgia, most likely.
Yeah, 1,000. And you know what? That probably should have been the the game, but that's why you play it, because TCU beat Michigan, so they deserve to go. But then you see TCU get blown out 63-7, and you're like, well, Michigan would have given them a better game because we know they beat Ohio State, and Ohio State lost it to them on a last-second field goal.
Yeah, but I think there was a lot of money grabbed in that game. I think Vegas made out like a bandit in that game, but that's my tinfoil hat comment of the night.
And you still got to respect TCU. I mean, they beat one of the
Michigan.
top 3 teams in the country.
They beat the number 2 team in the country.
And the Big 12, dude. The Big 12 is such a wild card. Making it through the Big 12 is impressive to me.
So, Drew, how would you do a group of 5 playoff? How many teams, and would you do like bowl games, or would you do it like how now the CFP is going to go with home games? Because I think home games would generate more money for the schools.
Home games is much more G5 style. Maybe I'd go 6 teams, just highest rated. I'm not giving automatic bids. That's cheap. And then I would give the 1 and the 2 a bye, and then 3, 6, 4, 5.
3, 6, 4, 5. Yeah.
First round at campus, second round at campus, so that the top seeds get to host a game as well, make some revenue, and then the title game I would go somewhere.
I'm gonna give it a bowl game.
Steal one of the upper echelon bowl games, not the Idaho Bowl.
I would steal one of the New Year's 6 bowls, one that's not being used for a playoff game. Yeah.
Because you already get honor system in the New Year's 6 bowl anyway. There's high rank or whatever. Just make
like a New Year's Day game would be awesome. Nightcap.
Where do you give it a rotation, or do you stick it somewhere and call it good?
I think you go in the rotation.
12 team rotating?
Yeah, I think you do a rotation based off of what the 12 teams do.
Yeah, rotate with the other playoff. You only need 1 bowl game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think you would just stick it somewhere, but like where you would stick it is kind of tough because most of your teams are here, and we all know that they're never going to give up Georgia and LSU playing at home, or Alabama playing in SEC country in Atlanta, or LSU. They're definitely not going to move them in the Orange Bowl because of the potential of them even playing down south still. So I think if you would make it a permanent bowl, you would be looking at the Fiesta Bowl, because you're definitely not going to make it the Rose Bowl, and the Rose Bowl won't have that.
How many of those group of 5 teams are going to have to travel significantly to go to Arizona, though?
A lot of them.
That's one thing that I have big concern about the G5 playoff, is that there are some very diehard fan bases, but there are also some not, and also some more poor fan bases. So I think that that's why you got to play them at home.
And I think you would have to play the championship at home, or you would pick if you don't do a bowl game, you would have to pick a MAC school to host it, or not like a MAC school, but a group of 5 school.
Just host it at like Arrowhead, or are they doing anything with the dome in St. Louis?
You could do St. Louis.
I don't know. Did they tear it down?
I think.
I was trying to think, is there like a centralized spot for the G5? Like I know
Arkansas.
It's mostly East Coast Appalachia, but we also have the Mountain West and the Sun Belt. So I was kind of thinking like Oklahoma-ish, like how college baseball does Omaha. Let's just go to Omaha. Play on the baseball field.
Dude, you could play it in the because the Cotton Bowl's now played in Jerry's World. You could play at the old Cotton Bowl Stadium where they have the Red Rover rivalry.
That'd be cool.
Because that stadium is only used for that game now.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of St. Louis. I'm going to be kind of on my own horn here.
I like St. Louis. I mean, I'm down for that too.
Ain't nothing going on in St. Louis.
No.
I don't know what. Let me Google the dome here.
But but Drew, to your point though, I think you would revitalize a lot of fan bases for those schools if you had a separate playoff system.
Yeah,
The
I think
dome
so. And I
at
think
America's
NIL.
Oh yeah,
knowing,
I think
but
NIL would go up.
knowing that you're gonna go play for something
We can
matters.
seriously go win a national championship.
Championship.
Yeah, I as a diehard BG fan, I am very tired of looking forward to the Idaho Potato Bowl or the Bahamas Bowl. Like, I don't
But
care
that's all
about
you're
them
gonna.
anymore.
But I mean, like,
But yeah, that's our peak.
Yeah,
That's the
that's the
Mack's
peak.
peak.
I mean,
Yeah. Meh.
and what's crazy is like Cincinnati. Like the only way the MAC you're ever gonna get to like where Cincinnati was is you have to beat a couple Power 5 schools on your schedule and go undefeated, and get lucky
And
enough
your
that
conference has to rise with you.
yeah. So
yeah, the St. Louis, the Dome at America's Center,
is
still
it still open?
purpose, still used.
Go
Yeah,
there.
battle
Book it.
run the Battle Hawks through there.
Oh,
Book
They
it.
run the Battle Hawks there.
oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
book it.
oh
make that
yeah.
the
And
place.
the Battlehawks have like the best crowd in XFL, I think.
Yeah, and it says they've got the game day 3D Uber Special AstroTurf nonsense, so I'm sure it's fit for
So
a football
someone's
game.
gonna tear their knee up.
Well,
Well, you know, whatever.
and then gamble on a
It's
game
safe.
and get kicked out of the. It's different. Well,
Chiefaholic.
I would love to see it. I think that would be great. And I think it would be great for college football too. I think it would be
Yes.
great for college football.
I bet ESPN would love it.
yes. Anyway,
ESPN,
ESPN can make another dollar. By God,
CBS,
I mean we had to lay off half the
Fox.
people, but
Did you hear
it
Stephen
on.
A said he may be next?
Impossible.
darn.
He owns that
Don't matter.
company.
It's trash.
Um
Can't stand that dude.
eh. I like how
can't believe he's
everybody
still
has
on
this. I just remember everything, like my best friend Steve Nash, my best friend Kobe Bryant, my best friend Shaquille O'Neal. Just everybody
He's
was Stephen A's
worthless.
best friend.
I would give it someone random. Give the G5 like NBC or something. Kick me off the beaten path. Give
Yeah.
someone that wants to spend money.
Absolutely.
USA, NBC, TNT. I don't even know who. TBS. TBS does all the March Madness stuff with CBS and them.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, True TV.
True
Yeah, we
TV.
can have
Woo!
Maybe
G5.
then.
Yeah. We want them to be found. We want the games to be able to be found. The only
Oh,
time
yeah.
True TV is found is when Purdue's getting their lights kicked out by someone.
And every day at 5 o'clock when I'm watching Cops. That's why I'm so sweaty.
Sorry,
That's why
sorry,
you're
Zach.
sweating.
That's why
You'll
I'm
get them
sweating.
this year, Zach. Don't let your guard down, Zach. It'll be all right. Get the same fate as Toshibwe coming. Shout out to my Indiana Pacers.
You got Toshibwe?
Yeah, undrafted. I think that's a huge deal. I like him.
Yeah.
Nick doesn't know who Toshibwe is, but it's all right.
Oscar, dude. Come on, bro.
Dude is
Oscar.
huge.
Big
Seen him in
Oscar,
person.
The Big O.
We went to that UK Georgia game.
I only know the big
National
O is Greg
Championship
Oden.
weekend.
He's better than Greg Oden.
Well,
Well,
he's probably
yeah, I could
healthier
say
than
that.
Greg
He's better
Oden.
than Greg Oden. Yeah, I could say that. Sorry, Greg. Good guy.
We miss you.
He was a great guy. I met him. He was a
She had some
phenomenal
He's still at Butler?
individual. Huh?
Is he still doing big things at Butler?
I don't know. I met him a couple of years ago at the Memorial Golf Tournament. Kind of hard not to, notice a 7-footer
miss.
standing on a golf course, but
He didn't have a nail on the side of his head chasing a guy in a gold jacket.
no, not that guy. I haven't seen that guy since.
Oh, the nail comes out next week.
Yeah, I haven't seen that guy since freaking Shooter McGavin blew a 4-shot lead on the black back nine to lose the gold jacket. That was crazy. What a
Green
turn of
jacket,
events that
gold
was.
jacket.
But
Who gives a shit?
green, gold, doesn't matter.
Green.
He lost it on blew a 4-shot lead on the back nine.
I think we're losing people now.
Oh, we are, but we're gonna get back to college football here. So
This has been such a hodgepodge episode.
yeah, absolutely.
Whoever has stuck with us,
Thank you.
we appreciate you.
God bless.
You have
God
a
bless.
lot of time on your hands.
If you had
You must
so-
not be worried about the MLB All-Star game.
God no.
It just
We were
started.
watching
AL.
the MLB All-Star game.
It goes off. It goes off at 8:30. I think the pregame show's
Oh,
still on. I don't think first pitch
of
is gone
course
yet.
ESPN's lying.
We just
Um,
gotta we gotta get through the talking and the commercials and the BS and the
Love it.
announcements and the fireworks and the
oh, there
and
was
the
something else that came out, by the way, that I wanted to get your guys' opinion on. Apparently, John Kitna's son pled guilty in
I
a
saw
plea
this.
deal to child pornography charges, and he's a quarterback at the University of Florida, and he
Was
was because he's now in the transfer portal.
I'm pretty sure he got kicked off the team.
Got kicked.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he
got
made
Yeah.
kicked
it
off
in.
the team and is now in the transfer portal. But like,
got that Cam Newton treatment.
how are you not in jail?
How are you not getting the
Right.
electric chair?
Yeah, like how are you not in jail
I
or
think
getting?
I think I read all he got was 5-year probation.
He
Yeah.
got a slap on the wrist, which
Yeah.
is ridiculous and absurd.
Completely.
So here we are. We're on the thing of unequivocal, guilty electric chair in this situation.
I don't disagree. I really don't. Like, that's just
That's
It'll be
get out of
absurd.
here.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if a school actually takes a flyer on him. Like I can't imagine him going anywhere Division 1, maybe FCS, but like, it's really hard.
I'm surprised he was.
It's hard to paint that
Surprised
picture.
even Buddy gave him a chance after how bad his dad was at quarterback.
Hey, now he
Yeah.
got the Bengals somewhere.
Maybe he's better than his dad.
So I remember when I was in college one day, I watched him play a game for the Lions, and he threw 3 straight pick sixes to Charles Woodson. Like, no, or whoever their corner was at the time. Like, 3 straight pick sixes to him, and it was like, did you just not like the set and said, "Hey, let's start over again"? Like, you could have threw an incomplete pass, but did you want a fresh set of downs?
Via ABC News
Yes.
through an ESPN.
Please lay it on us.
Through an ESPN. Oh man, words are hard. Journalist pleaded no contest to 2 counts of disorderly conduct as a part of the plea deal, which placed him on 1 year of probation, which could end in 6 months if he meets the terms of parole. Bruh.
What?
So he pled no contest, which is basically like, I'm guilty of whatever you're charging me of.
I did it, but I didn't do it. But like, I want the slap on the wrist aspect, not the take me to jail aspect. Redshirt sophomore, former 4-star prospect from Texas, immediately kicked off the team where he was the backup. 10 of 14, 181, and a touchdown in 4 games last year.
From Texas?
He's from Texas. He's
Okay.
a Florida. Florida kicked him off the team right away. Bro.
At least somebody has conviction.
Possible only 6 months, and I read some of that article. Can't talk about that stuff on here that they got him for, but like, bruh.
It was child pornography, wasn't it? Like part of it?
Yeah, but I saw some other words in there, and look it up for yourself. It was an ABC article.
Yeah, I don't want to.
But yeah, dude, that's jail time. That's years of jail time.
You should be thrown into jail. Like, not even like years, dude. Like, you should be thrown into jail for life. Just go sit in a cell and rot. In my opinion.
No, that's my money, dude.
Yeah, he's just
less of that, more immediate.
Dollars. I'm all for the death penalty.
We need to bring back public nonsense and quick
spend
hits
a lot of fucking money on prisons.
Listen, if we're spending all this money on Narcan out there, we can spend some money for some quick hits. Take some of these bigger dudes out, wasting my tax dollars.
Some of these creepy,
another tinfoil hat moment of the night.
Just like you have to be a sick individual to do what he was doing. You have to be a sick individual, and it is mind blowing that he is only getting off with probation. It is mind blowing.
It's terrible, horrible failure, and I guess my thing is, and the wording is going to come out terrible, but it's in my head, and we're going for it. Sorry ahead of time. I can't imagine the lengths you'd have to go through to get that media as it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I assume you stumble on. Like, that's a hard time. Like, bro needs locked away. You are trying to find that,
Oh, 1000%.
trying to
Yeah.
get what you found. This
Oh,
isn't some stumble
1000%.
upon, it's on my computer stuff. This is like,
This wasn't like a
bro,
misclick on like something on like a link
I'm
that
not
randomly took it took it to you and you closed out and you were like, what the hell was
I'm not
that?
downloading the wrong version of Numb Encore on LimeWire. Like,
Yeah,
this is like
right.
bad.
Yeah. This wasn't you thought you were downloading Miss American Pie by Don McLean and it turns out to be something completely different. You know what I
American
mean?
Pie
No, it's
XXX.
Yeah. It turns out to be an
no,
XXS
bad,
video.
bad,
Yeah,
bad.
you
This
know?
Point
was
being, he needs locked up and thrown away.
this was all
Exactly.
the state in the state of Florida, correct?
I believe
I think
so.
so, yeah.
And I
I,
think if I'm
Florida's
not
kind of weird.
mistaken, Corey and I were talking about it. Part of it is he has to leave the state of Florida too. Like he can't go
I
back to
believe
the
it.
state of Florida. But it's like even
Ooh,
then,
where's
it's
that?
Interesting.
like Ethan said, dude should be put in a chair, turn the switch on, and let him fry.
He did apologize in court to his family, friends, and the people that care about him, in case everybody wondered.
Oh, I'm glad he's sorry.
Fucking garbage, dude.
I don't know.
Absolute garbage.
I guess good for Graham Mertz.
It's just
We'll have less
like what
competition
is
behind him.
like what is going on with people nowadays? And furthermore, like
It's just public now. Everything.
everything is. I just
So you hear about it more.
in closing, in closing here, um, what I hope happens in Northwestern with what's all going there with their baseball team and their football team. I hope an entire criminal investigation gets done of these allegations, and if people are guilty of the allegations, whoever is associated, participated, knew about it, whatever, you guys, every single one of them should see their day in the court system, in the courtroom. Let the legal system, do what they need to do. And if you're Northwestern, the only way you can do this, I think we all agree, is you have to clean house and start over. Now, how you do that is, a question to be answered, right?
Yeah. I would say in conclusion, free Patty Fitz. I'm biased. Do what you got to do, top to bottom. You got to clean house. He's a bad guy. He sucked. Move on, ban him, take everything away. He's innocent. Free my boy. Go American League.
Uh yeah, I mean, all you can do is sit on the fence because we don't know all the facts. So if Northwestern would like to release the facts in the investigation and whatnot, that'd be cool. Um, Otherwise, I don't know. You just have to move forward. I think it's gonna. I already thought it was gonna be a bad year for Northwestern football. I think it's gonna be a worse year for Northwestern football.
0-12, I think.
Um, but maybe I'm excited to see who the next hire is going to be. Like who's going to take over the
Yes.
reins.
And
Yes.
anybody else looking for insight with this, I know Drew is a fan as well. The late kick with Josh Pate, I was actually listening to it in the car ride on vacation. I was actually passing through BG listening to this episode. UGA culture question and bold predictions and Harbaugh future. It's Late Kick Live, episode 399. No plug, no sponsorship. I'm just saying it kind of relates to what's going on and getting all the facts before you make a educated decision one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It just seems like everything is just like there's scandal after. I mean, like Ohio State just got out of one. Penn State got out of one. Ohio State's been in two in the past like 20 years. Michigan State had their
Everyone,
thing.
dude. Yeah, Sparty was in one.
Miss
Feels like
Penn
everyone.
Florida,
State, Michigan,
Florida's got
even
one.
Florida's got one. Michigan had one with their offensive coordinator hacking emails or something rather that got fired.
Um,
Weiss, not
didn't
Weiss.
Maryland do something?
Maryland,
DJ,
Maryland had their thing with their
DJ
coach.
Durkin.
yeah,
Yeah,
DJ Durkin
Whoa.
had one.
yeah, with their coach with the heat kid having a heat stroke. Like
I gotta say
Rutgers,
one thing.
Rutgers and their
Yep.
basketball coach.
Yep.
What you got?
I gotta say one thing. This is not about the Big Ten. Texas A&M has has the worst coaching staff. DJ Durkin, who was fired from Maryland, who was in that scandal for
The heat stroke.
yeah, that. And then Bobby Petrino is the OC,
Oh God.
who he's had tons of problems. And then Jimbo, which I know he's never had anything too crazy, but I don't trust Jimbo. I don't know. I just had to throw that in there.
I think Jimbo's doing whatever he needs to do to win, and he's not doing that very well right
No,
now.
he should have never left Florida State. But
I'm happy with what's going on in Florida State. Dark horse, Jordan Travis,
Florida
Heisman.
State's going to be really good this year. But I mean, what is going on in the Big Ten? It just seems like all of our schools are going to get eventually caught in something.
I don't know.
It's wild.
It
You need
is.
to stop. Don't do the bad things.
Yeah, stop doing bad
Be a
things
good
and
coach.
like
Be a
Yeah,
good
like
person. The end.
yeah.
if you're gonna make it,
It's not hard.
yeah,
Do you take your cart back to the stall at the grocery store? You should probably stick to being a good person.
right.
If you're
And
not, you're a piece of shit, and there's an article that proves it.
like I don't condone hazing, but like if you want to have some fun with like your freshmen to do like an initiation process, like if you want to do like a quote unquote initiation for like these guys into the team, do something silly like take them go out to
Marginal,
go out to
Non-sexual.
non-sexual,
definitely
non-physical,
non-sexual.
like non-sexual, non-physical, just like I said earlier, go to dinner and stick it with the bill.
Dye their hair bleach blonde and give them a funky
Yeah,
haircut. That
yeah,
rings some bells.
you're right. Like
Yeah.
do something that's a team building exercise that like everybody does. You know what I
And
mean? Like
don't force like unhealthy things. Like
Yeah.
here in BG, we had two different fraternities kicked off campus because they were hazing one kid, forcing him to drink alcohol. Of course, he fucking OD'd. And
Got alcohol poisoning and died, didn't he?
Yeah. So
I remember that.
don't fucking do that.
Just be a good person. Back to square one.
It's pretty easy. I think it's pretty easy.
Just be a good person. Like
If you know, blow the whistle. Don't let it get to this point. Stop it in its tracks. Don't let it start. Just don't. Bad.
Yeah.
Go sit in your room. No dessert.
Just have fun with each other. Treat people with respect.
We were trying, but this is where we got.
You're right. I mean, it's just crazy, but it's just do some
bad.
fun things.
Just practice. Why are you goofing off?
Yeah.
Get on the field and practice. We got to win some games, man.
You haven't won a game in the United States since 2021, so probably should be trying harder to do that.
No kidding.
Be
Well, it's
2
gonna be
years in
a
October.
long uphill battle. Thanks everybody for sticking with us through this episode. I know it was very uncomfortable talking about it, kind of, with the allegations. Obviously there is mature content here. Just know
we did say some things to incite a riot at points, and we don't exactly condone or agree or believe everything we said.
Those are not the values of the show of what happened at Northwestern. We are not about that. We don't condone anything that happened there.
No.
Highly disappointed.
Very disappointed.
If you did take that from some of our comments, just know that it was always that we are guys who want to see the entire process play out. We want all the facts available before you make a decision. I think that's the moral underlying message that a lot of those statements were.
Probably should have led with this.
We don't have all the
Probably.
facts.
Yes.
We don't have any of the facts besides what
Neither
we
do
know.
most of you.
Neither do a lot of us. So, and that's why we said allegations or supposedly this was what's reported. So again, we're just going off of what that was said, what was
I will
reported,
always play devil's advocate, and I am not sorry for that.
and just know that we don't condone anything of that
Not at all.
sort, and we just want people to be treated fairly with respect, kindness, and love one another, right? Peace and love, guys.
Yeah.
That's what we're all. I mean,
ELE.
hey,
Everybody love everybody.
everybody. And one guy said, or somebody once said, can't remember who it was, but we're all stuck on this planet together. You know, we're all stuck on this rock and floating throughout the vastness of space together. You know,
Might as well get along.
Might as well get along and treat, and like Drew said, you guys said, everybody love everybody. Thanks for your time this evening, guys. I know we went a lot longer than we expected. Next week we will get back to covering the teams. We'll probably have a 4-team breakdown since we're about 6 weeks out, because we have 4 weeks that are going to be covered of just an Ohio State show, just a Michigan show, just a Wisconsin show, and just a Penn State show. So we'll do that.
Favoritism.
Hey, so we got to get through some teams. Well, I just figured those are the four biggest teams in the conference, the 4 most that we can literally cover. Probably we can all talk an hours about all 4 of them. So we'll be back covering those breakdowns on Sunday, 10 a.m. guys. We'll see you then. Thanks for your time this evening. Peace and love, guys.